Alphonse Gabriel Al Capone was one of the most notorious gangsters in American history. Operating during the Prohibition era, Capone's criminal empire included bootlegging, gambling, and various other illegal enterprises. His life and criminal career have become legendary, symbolizing the excesses and violence of organized crime in the early 20th century. Al Capone was born on January 17, 1899, in Brooklyn, New York, to Italian immigrant parents, Gabriel and Teresa Capone. He grew up in a poor neighborhood and attended school intermittently. Capone was known for his rough demeanor and involvement in petty crimes during his youth. In his late teens, Capone joined a street gang known as the Five Points Gang, which operated in the Bowery district of Manhattan. Under the mentorship of prominent gangster Johnny Torrio, Capone became involved in more serious criminal activities, including extortion and robbery. In 1920, Capone moved to Chicago, where he began working for Torrio, who was involved in the city's lucrative illegal alcohol trade. The Volstead Act, which enforced prohibition, had created a huge demand for illegal alcohol, and Capone quickly saw an opportunity. When Torrio retired from organized crime in 1925, Capone took over his operations. He expanded the business, using violence and bribery to eliminate competitors and secure control over Chicago's bootlegging trade. His criminal empire included gambling operations, brothels, and other illegal ventures. One of the most infamous events associated with Capone was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre on February 14, 1929. In a bid to eliminate rival gang members of the North Side Italian gang, led by George Bugs Moran, Capone's men, disguised as police officers, murdered 7 of Moran's associates in a garage. This brutal act cemented Capone's reputation for ruthlessness. Despite his criminal activities, Capone cultivated a public persona as a generous and charismatic figure. He often portrayed himself as a philanthropist who cared for the poor and funded public projects. His image was bolstered by media coverage, which frequently depicted him as a dashing, larger-than-life figure. Throughout the late 1920s, Capone faced increasing scrutiny from law enforcement and the federal government. Despite numerous attempts to prosecute him on various charges, he managed to avoid conviction due to his ability to intimidate witnesses and corrupt officials. However, the federal government, under the leadership of Eliot Ness and his team of investigators known as the Untouchables, focused on Capone's financial activities. They discovered evidence of tax evasion, which became the basis for his prosecution. In 1931, Capone was convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 11 years in federal prison. His conviction marked a significant victory for law enforcement and a blow to organized crime. Capone served time at several prisons, including Alcatraz, the infamous federal penitentiary in San Francisco Bay. During his imprisonment, Capone's health deteriorated due to untreated syphilis and other medical conditions. By the time of his release in 1939, his mental and physical health had significantly declined. After his release from prison, Capone retired to his estate in Palm Island, Florida. He lived a reclusive life, suffering from advanced syphilis and its related complications. He spent his final years in relative obscurity and died on January 25, 1947, at the age of 48.